Mr. Rodney and the PC caucus. Continue sharing your time as well, too.
Yes, please.
Go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister, if we can just pick up where we were on page 54, the business plan, Alberta's education system being well governed and managed. I left off with this two-part question. Last year, during estimates, I know that you noted that you definitely encouraged school boards to find deficiencies. And so I'm wondering what you can tell Albertans in terms of what types of efficiencies you actually expect school boards to be able to find, and tell us which school boards indeed have had a lot of success in this particular area. Because it's nice to shine the light on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that question. And as I mentioned in my opening comments, that we flow through about 97% of our budgets to the school boards. And so, you know, but I still I'm still responsible for that whole thing, right? And so, you know, as we demand more from those difficult to get public dollars, we are, you know, looking for school boards to make some choices too, right? So, I mean, you mentioned the reserves, right? And I think that I always encourage the school boards to be careful, you know, with reserves, and people are looking at them all the time. Like, we're in the midst of collective bargaining here right now, for example, right? Which has been going very well. But, you know, so the teachers look at some of the reserves at some of these school boards and they go, hey, you know, you guys aren't broke at all, right? Look at all that money you have. And so, you know, you have to be really careful always. You know, we have been encouraging school boards to develop efficiencies around procurement, for example, and, you know, purchasing together with other school boards, and sort of encouraging that through our department to try to do that. You know, we've been trying to encourage joint use, sort of work with other ministries or with municipalities and so forth. I can tell you that, you know, the tipping the balance for the Irma School again was that the community raised, I don't know, $1.6 million, something like that, to make it not just a school but a community center too, right? And then you say, well, then you're getting that extra value added on. So, you know, the degree to which school boards can reach out and even work with municipalities or even other levels of government to build something together, I really think that that creates efficiency as well. You know, we're working for collaboration to reduce expenditures on utility costs and so forth, and other operations, administration as well. You know, we have put an administrative cap in place to you know, encourage school boards to take a close look at their expenditures on admin. Right, we have the energy consortia as well, which helps to buy utilities collectively, and we encourage school boards to do that too. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, rate my school board. Which ones are are really tight and lean, and which ones are not so much. Everybody's unique, right? But you know, we will always work closely to make sure that school boards are getting the support they need from us. Like, for example, this new collective bargaining model that we built here is quite revolutionary for this province. You know, we're negotiating, the funders are at the table, and we will meet the terms of that agreement from that table completely, right? So that really helps school boards a lot, I think. You know, we had a lot of, you know, I don't know what the term is, like whipsawing or something like that, where some boards would negotiate a big thing and other, you know, like it was confusing. And so I think that there's some efficiencies that could be had from that. Well,
and Minister, don't take me wrong. I'm not looking for efficiencies in terms of slash and burn. That's never been my style.
No, I understand.
It's not what I've ever been about personally, professionally, or politically. But I want to switch gears if I can, because I mean, just to finish that point off. You have efficiencies so you can afford to do other things that you really want to do, but that requires parking egos at a door, and I saw it with not really students but staffs and you know, principals, school boards, and others, community associations working together rather than against each other. So, but speaking of that, and all you have to do is turn on the radio to hear about this, and I'm not going to name the people involved. That's not the most important thing, and it's it's a higher level thing I'm getting to, but a specific I'm going to refer to. I'm talking about the Edmonton Catholic School situation. Some of the members have had some very serious issues, as you know, and that's impeded the work of the board. Has that stabilized in your eyes? And I guess the higher level question, what are you doing to prevent this sort of thing happening either there or in other situations across the province? Because no one wins from a situation.
No, that's a really good question, because of course, we are just starting the cycle into the next municipal elections too, right? And so we want to make sure that we have some standards or sort of expectations in place, so that people who are thinking about running for school board trustee or so forth will say, okay, this is where where we want to be, and so we are trying to encourage more sort of training of new trustees through programming through the Alberta School Boards Association and some university as well, so that they get some administrative boot camp, I don't know what you want to call it, right, to start them off on the right foot. And you never know when trouble might come your way, right? And with 61 school boards, we always, there was always some couple of challenges here and there at any given time. Now, obviously, the circumstance in Edmonton Catholic just garnered a lot more attention because it's one of the big four, right? And they had some more serious problems, and so we worked over. I mean, you saw it all again unfold in the newspaper, right? I put an helper in there for a while, and and then he left, and then again we just really want to work hard on improving governance in that particular board. And so my deputy minister here has been meeting with them weekly?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-monthly. There you go. Yeah, so to try to see where things are at, and they just have to get one more budget in, and then
right.
Then they'll have an election.
Sure. Well, and again, this is just one example, but a different example from the same board. Some members of that board has expressed concern that the school board was paying a significant portion of the costs associated with one of the members doing a master's in public health.
Yeah.
So is there a provincial policy under your government now on what school boards can and cannot spend professional development money on? And if so, what are you doing to ensure the policy is applied consistently across the province? And if not, why is there no policy to aid school boards in this process? Because that's what it's about. We're trying to assist them.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because, when these problems do come up, they come up in the court of public opinion, right? And so, boards make decisions.
Professional development, and if there's a policy provincially on what they can or cannot spend, and
right.
Is it applied? And
no, it's a board. No, it is an individual board thing, right? I can tell you that I've certainly been thinking about it, though, right? Because of course, when these things come to light, sometimes it's a source of conflict, and then that conflict spills over into other things that I need those boards to govern properly over, right? So yeah, I mean.
So is there a go forward process in terms of it will be mandated provincially according to certain specifications, or what's?
I don't have any plan for it now, but I mean, honorable member, I certainly You've touched on something that I certainly have been reflecting on, right?
Okay.
And perhaps the governance training thing can be part of how that sets guidelines for people. Like you say, when you do get elected, don't all go to Disneyland straight away and and
right.
Whatever, right? I mean, that could be a way by which we can guide some of these things. Is there a provincial regulation in regards to professional development opportunity and payments for trustees? No, there is not at this time.
Okay, a quick question. I don't think we'll have time for the answer. We can come back to it, though. Last year, you stated 98% of the monies within education is sent to school boards. And so how much of the money is allocated to school boards returned to government in the form of carbon tax payments? And can you comment on the total amount of monies collected from the carbon tax which will actually be redistributed back to the school boards. I don't have a secret agenda in terms of
No,
why
it's
aren't
fine.
they
I mean,
exempted in the first place, but a lot of people are asking questions just like that.
yeah, I mean, I've been talking to the boards, and they've been giving me some pretty good statistics, pretty accurate. I can start to see, carbon levy, potential prediction of expenditures and population of the school board. I can almost guess sometimes. So anyway, $8.6 million is where we estimate it to be.